evening, everybody, and welcome to the regular session meeting for October 3rd, 2023. It is 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. May I have roll call, please?
Mayor Orndorff.
Here.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sui.
Here.
Commissioner Watson.
Here.
Commissioner Romanek.
Here.
Reverend Murky, you're over there. If we could all stand for the invocation delivered by Reverend Murky, followed by the salute of the flag, please.
It's true. This is a great night for the city of Millville, for Millville Fire Department, and we celebrate what's happening tonight. Thank you, Father God, for a beautiful day. Thank you that you are in the city for the good things that are happening. We celebrate all of these. Bless this meeting tonight. Bless those who are being sworn in, and thank you for all who sacrifice and serve our city. Thank you for our leadership. Bless our mayor and commissioners. Give them wisdom. Make this a good meeting and lead our city forward by your grace in all things. In your name we ask it. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting is being conducted in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975, was advertised, posted, and made available to the public as required by statute. The municipal clerk is directed to include a statement in the minutes of this meeting. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to this agenda?
We had four, Mayor. So we had the addition of resolution number 12, approving the First Amendment with Jeanette Pace for paralegal services. We had the addition of resolution 13, appointing Frank Guaracini III to serve as municipal judge. We have the addition of new business item to authorize a special event on public lands application for a ride sponsored by Tri-County Sportsman Motorcycle Club. And the fourth item was just an amendment to the presentation tonight for the firefighters, and we removed EMS's presentation.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to presentations for this evening.
Okay, so we just have a presentation by Chief Lippincott regarding the swearing in of 2 new firefighters.
Go Phillies.
You can say that loud.
What's that?
You're free to say that on the microphone, Chief.
Good evening, everyone. As the chaplain said, it's a great night for the city of Millville and for the Millville Fire Department. And so we're going to be swearing in 2 new firefighters, and we're also going to be appointing a volunteer fire officer. So good things are happening. Just a little bit, if you're not familiar, before we proceed with that, Millville Fire Department, some of you may or may not know, is what's called a combination fire department. So we have full-time firefighters and we also have volunteers. So they work together. Sometimes it's a little difficult to manage a department like that, but I have great people, so that makes it a lot easier. So tonight, first we're going to swear in 2 new full-time firefighters. It's going to bring our full-time staffing to 17. I'm very pleased about that. We've been trying to increase the staffing incrementally over the years. I know it's tough with the budget, but we're able to add 1 additional. So 1 swearing in tonight is a replacement, and the other one is an addition. So that's a great thing. And I want to thank the commission, Director of Public Safety Kirk Hewitt, the Vice Mayor, his Revenue and Finance, and Chief Hoppin from the Police Department, who dug into the public safety budget and were able to find money there to hire a firefighter and make this possible tonight. So thank you to them and to the entire commission for making this possible. So at this time, I'd like to call up Sean Platt and Sumner Brian Lippincott.
Alrighty. Yeah, stand like that so you get a good photo op here. Is that better? All right. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
Sean Platt, Sumner Brian.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey.
that I will bear true faith
That I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
to the governments
in
established
the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in the state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of firefighter
of a firefighter
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my
So
ability.
help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
so everyone knows why they sign up, they've been working for about a month, but with scheduling and things like that and the schedule for the commissioning, this is the first time we were able to get them here for the public swearing in, but they've been hard at work already for a month.
Yeah, it's good that it's sitting here. I'll put it in his box. Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you.
So it's, whenever I do one of these, some of you, bear with me if you've heard this before, but whenever we swear in a firefighter, I'm always reminded of a quote by Chief Croker of the New York City Fire Department. He was the chief at the turn of the century. I'll paraphrase. He basically said, when a person becomes a firefighter, his greatest act of bravery has already been accomplished. Everything he does after that is all in the line of duty. So that oath that they take is pretty important. And what they're saying is that they may never have to, but they're willing to do whatever's necessary and place themselves in harm. So I always like to remind everybody of that when we do a swearing in. Next up, mentioned we're a combination fire department, so we have career staff, volunteers. We just swore in 2 new full-time. Now for my volunteer staff, who the numbers have been dropping. That's a nationwide problem, but I still have a strong core of volunteers. We count on them. They're dependable, they're hardworking, and most of all, they do it all for the community for free. Inside that group of volunteers, I count on certain people to help me. As I said, managing volunteers and full-time staff can be difficult. Volunteers with the different schedules and availability, a lot of times I don't see all the volunteers or see them as frequently as I'd like to, because some of them are only available in the evenings or on the weekends, and I might not see them as much as I like to. So I count on volunteers who are a little bit seasoned, I guess that's a good word, to help me with that. So we have officers within the volunteer ranks who help me on the fire ground, but they also help me with mentoring new volunteers, teaching them the ways of being a volunteer, what the expectations are, helping them get through fire school and those kind of things. So one of my longtime volunteers who's been doing that for me is Kevin Quay. I'd like Kevin to come up now, please, and I said some family come up with him. So Kevin's been a firefighter for a really long time with a couple different departments. He's been with us now 10 years about. You may remember Kevin. He's been up here a couple times to receive some life-saving awards. But he goes above and beyond also, along with my other volunteers and my volunteer officers, which just real quick, I got Deputy Chief Jim Reeves, I think Deputy Chief Larry Fawcett in the back. Did I miss anybody? And then there's also some other volunteers that are here. I want to thank them for everything that they do. So Kev has been stepping up, doing a lot, coming down to the station, doing things, but especially with the new volunteers. He's really doing a great job. So at this time, I'm going to appoint him to the position of volunteer fire lieutenant, and his family is going to pin on his badge. Oh, I got it's like a wedding ring. Did you rehearse this, practice it? One time? Okay, never mind. Now he gets a fancy white hat. Congratulations, thank you. So Kev, you're going to be busy. The director and I were talking, volunteerism is down, not just in the fire service, but in communities in general, and we struggle. But we recently have gotten, I believe, 4, maybe possibly 5 new volunteers in the pipeline, which is unusual to have that many all at the same time, but it's great. It's a good problem to have, so Kev and my other staff will be working with them to get them in place. So great night for the Millville Fire Department, great night for the city of Millville, and again, a big thank you to the commission for everything, all the support that they've given to the fire department in the past, and I'm sure in the future. Thank you. And turn it over to my boss for a few minutes.
Thanks, Chief. I just want to echo some of your thoughts. Congratulations, Sumner and Sean. Welcome aboard. Pop-up. Welcome to Red Hat territory. I want to thank, like Chief did, the commission. Took some work to get 2 new ones. Chief Hoffman, for his magic that he worked. It just goes to show one thing. In Millville, now, public safety is a team from police, fire, and EMT. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Take care. Welcome aboard.
Man of many words. And they So we should tell them they're welcome to stay.
You know that's one thing.
Well, if they break it over here, then how we call them out.
We got 45 minutes.
They were the first ones out. They always bring.
I had to wear my red tonight. Romanik did.
I haven't said anything at this meeting, but I got a nice little speech already for you.
Already?
Already.
This is good.
Good for me.
Mr. DeSantis, if you want to make your way over to the podium, you're going to be next. I don't know if he heard me.
I should have put him first, and everyone had to listen.
So I believe next we have a presentation by Anthony DeSantis concerning former Wheaton property. So we'll proceed with that as soon as the room is cleared out. We might want to close those doors. Ben, you might.
It's going to take a minute.
Huh?
It's going to take a minute.
I know. I'm just.
They all try to fit on there. They can't.
Awesome.
Ted. Greg, you want to be part of it? Okay. At the end, you go out started.
They're having too much fun out there. I think we're good, Mr. DeSantis, if you want to start. Just make sure that mic's on. Perfect. Thank you.
Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, and the citizens of Millville, I'd like to take this opportunity this evening to say thank you for everything you've done for us. It's because of your belief in us that I stand here today with some great news. Okay, and what I'd like to do is I'd like to update on some of the progress that we've been doing. It's through your dedication and your belief in what we're doing that we're able to stand here and show you photos of the demolition site. Now, the demolition is underway, and it is taking a little bit longer than what's been anticipated, but unfortunately, we have no control of, government regularities. So we are monitoring the property. We have the different agencies there to make certain that everything is being done correctly. The city of Millville has been helpful in all this, and so has the city, and so has its citizens. If you take a look at some of those pictures, it's honestly, it's a bittersweet moment for us. And I can say that because though, on one hand, it's a joyous occasion where we're knocking down some buildings that are considered, might be considered dangerous, outdated, and making way for the new industry to come in. We do plan on, hopefully sooner than later, putting up new warehousing, refrigerated and whatnot, space there. But in the meantime, we also have to remember all those that have worked at the site. So as part of our groundbreaking and at completion, actually, what I'd like to do is to invite everyone to raise a flag in remembrance of everyone that has worked there, that's still around, and everybody that's passed, as a mindful dedication of what they've done for this city. Is there any questions that you would like to ask about the site in itself, or anything that is ongoing that you have on your mind? You're good?
Do you have a projection date on when everything's going to be complete?
6 months ago. You want an honest answer? 6 months ago. We're, currently right now, we're waiting on authorization to continue with the silos, for example, and we're just waiting for our authorization to come through. Like I told you, we're following all protocols. So, and we hired a very competent demolition company and an environmental company to review everything and to inspect the process as we move along. We've had some hiccups, just like every other project out there, but we're not stopping. We're moving strong, and we're overcoming all the obstacles. We're dedicated to Millville. We made an investment to Millville, and I think we've invested more than what most people could ever imagine. So when I see people, I remember when I first stepped up here, they said, "Oh, you're not a Millvillian." I'm like, so I look at them and I'm like, well, what makes you a Millvillian? The fact that you were born here, or the fact that you're dropping millions of dollars to redo the city and make it a place and to create jobs? At what point do you become a Millvillian? You understand? I mean, I think that we've proved, both through Greg and Ted and the people coming down after us, that we're loyal to the city. And we've proved it by putting up our own money. And with that being said, I would love this project to be terminated yesterday. But, we are waiting on authorizations, and it's on a per building basis. They have to do, we have different agencies, regulatory agencies, who are coming in, giving us the approvals, giving us the authorizations, and as soon as they do it, and what I've done is I've stood, I'll be honest with you, I've given the authorization to our demolition contractor to deal with the different agencies. He also has our remediation companies there to make certain that it's being done correctly and that testing is being done correctly. So, I mean, with that being said, I leave it in their hands, and all I could do is ask them, when is this finally going to get done?
Do you mind answering a couple questions?
No, please.
So I had a couple questions from the public before about air monitoring, to make sure that, they were worried about the quality air while the demolition. So I assured them that you had air monitoring in place as you're tearing down the buildings.
Mr. Sui, the site is constantly under.
I know that, I've been out there, but.
Yeah, I'll let Ted answer that one, but yes.
The other question I have for you is, you know, when we did mediation and you agreed to pay for the price of the demolition, and thankfully we didn't agree to pay for the price of the demolition, what are you expecting the final cost of that to be?
Let me ask you a question.
Roughly?
Let me ask you a question. Have I ever asked for a penny from the city of Millville?
Nope.
Okay? Have we paid our taxes on time or before?
Absolutely.
Okay? All we're looking for is, like I told you, to be part of a loyal part of this community. And I'll answer your question in a second, but let me lead into it. A lot of people say that we're knocking down these buildings and we're going to sit on it. Well, I'll tell you this right now. We're not here to sit on anything. We have money going out there, and the way I see it is that we need to get it back as quickly as possible. And to answer your question, we are in the millions with an S of dollars. I'd rather not give an exact number, but it is
Over the projected,
well over the projected. That, and then, yeah.
Beyond.
We're paying the days, even though the equipment is not shown, the people aren't working, we're on standby for testing results from the Department of Labor Asbestos Division, or the DEP, or the EPA, or, you know, well, I got to thank the fire commissioner for this. The Child Protective Services, when we're on hold for all that stuff, we are still paying the equipment and the standby fees, and, I mean, that doesn't go away. So it's to my advantage to come back to your question, Mr. Watson, is it would be to our advantage to get this done sooner than later.
Well, just to put it in perspective for the public, I believe when we, meaning the city, thought the original cost of the
Over
demolition
double.
would be, it would,
Over double.
right, well, I wanted to give the public the number to tell them, you know, it was, I think we estimated it at $4.8 million.
That's
So-
without the environmental.
Without the environmental problems, yep.
I think, without reviewing the numbers, we're probably at 2.25 of that, you know? And, again, we never contacted the city. I never called Ms. Orndorff and say, hey, listen, we have a problem here. We're over expected this wasn't part of our agreement. No, we took it on the chin and we moved on and we made it happen. And the only thing that we're looking for is to give us the opportunity, just which all of you have been absolutely amazing. I mean, this is probably, I mean, I've been through 3 commissions in the city of Millville, and you guys are probably one of the best people I've ever worked with. You know, you're patient, you're understanding, you're educated, you ask the right questions. You come to me and you allow us the opportunity to see the facts. And that's what we're doing for you. You know? So we're up there with the numbers. Regarding the other question, Ted will get into it in a minute, but is there any other questions for me?
I appreciate the investment in both time and money that you have put into this community.
Well, I mean, even at the warehouse, we're bringing down people, and we're waiting for our authorization to kick in, so we could start working in the warehouses that are existing. We plan on refacing those warehouses and building those up also, and we do have tenants that are moving in there. And even those tenants, and as part of their requirement, we've negotiated their involvement and their investment in the city. And some of you may have met them, some of you may not have, you know, through the course when they come around. But they're also dedicated, and if they're gonna come into one of our properties, that's one of my requirements.
And you own more than just the factory that's being torn down, or you own other parts of the old Wheaton company.
We have 200G, 1300. We are building along the waterfront. We have establishments we have plans on bringing in, not exactly managing them ourselves, but to purchase and finance, basically put new companies in business in order to bring a higher standard to the quality of foods, to the quality of living to Millville. One of the major problems here that I've seen, if I may, is 2 things. Number 1 is the lack of small businesses. So I believe in the middle class. I'm a strong believer of the middle class. And one thing that we need to do is to reinforce that, and build it. And by doing that, we have to bring two things. Number one are jobs. Number two is housing. And they're, which came first, the chicken or the egg? So we've gotten an agreement to bring in 600 jobs. One of them is on the cuff right now because of some issues we've had with the fire marshal, but we hope to resolve, not the fire marshal, but the tenant that we have. And, but all in all, we have about 600 jobs slated to come into that site. We have a food establishment coming in, and again, the pricing is going to be, the concept is this. The concept is, high quality food, imported ingredients, because the people need a healthier choice at a reasonable price. So I'll give you an example. If we're going to make coffee, they're going to use Illy or Lavazza. If they're going to make a pizza, it's going to be a brick oven pizza, but it's going to be, with imported ingredients, flour that hasn't been refined or enriched. And that's the goal of this. And we'll make it, the tomato sauce will be a real natural tomato sauce with that.
You're making me hungry.
That's my goal. So that is some of the things. And you know what? Let me take this opportunity just to let you introduce some people. Giorgio, just stand up and say hello. That's Giorgio, his son Enrico, and Simone and Vincenzo. They came out, and he's going to speak at the end also. But they came here from Italy. I went down and I approached them. I've done my research and I brought them in, and he's only one of many. So I've been not only proving my existence, but I've been supported by the city by bringing in other companies. Now, if anybody else in Millville can say they've done that or they want to jump on the bandwagon, I would encourage it, because this city needs to grow. Everybody talks about, what are we doing? How do we grow? Well, guess what? There's only one way to grow. Franklin Delano Roosevelt said it best. People don't want welfare. They want jobs. They want to work. They want to bring in money, and that's what we need to do to the city in order to revive it. Otherwise, guess what? The city can't support itself. It's going to be bankrupt. And by us pooling our resources together, we could change this. Any other questions?
I just want to comment and just ditto to what Vice Mayor said. Thank you to not just you, but your team and the commitment to the city of Millville. I know you've had some trying years with previous commissions and not giving up. And I look forward to the future of what your project's going to bring to the community. You did mention a remembrance for the families who have worked at Wheaton's. I just want to make sure that that's communicated well enough to our community, because I know there's so many families that would appreciate that. I just want to make sure that's communicated properly in enough time so people can be there, and whatever you have, I don't know.
I am not familiar enough with exactly what is the most respectful way
I think
to
we can come
remember
up
them.
with something.
Well, thank you.
I'm willing to help if you need me to.
That's what I was looking for. I want to say thank you for that.
There's
'Cause
enough.
what we do need is, and where I'm thinking about it, is probably the most important space on that property, which is the corner by Flippers, the pharmacy, across from the bank, by the railroad tracks. That intersection, I believe, would make an ideal location. We're going to have the back wall. I think there should be something over there also commemorating Millville. I think that we should be, when I came to Millville, I noticed that, what's the name of it? Wheaton Avenue. When you come off 55, there's nothing that says, welcome to Millville. Did you know that? How many people have gotten off 55? Did anyone ever notice that there's no sign that says, welcome to Millville?
Not till you put the little mural on your building.
Well, guess what? I hired a company to come in and paint a mural that says, welcome to Millville. People need to know that they're here. We need to be proud of ourselves. And we need to reinforce that to everybody coming through this city. So I did it. I didn't ask permission. I got in trouble for that. I didn't know I had to ask permission, but that's no excuse, as Brock will tell you, and Greg. But, you know, to me, it was a great idea that, hey, you know what? You're coming to the city? Welcome to Millville, you know? We're building futures together, where opportunities lie. Anything else? Mr. Romanek, you good?
If you were to guess, like, 100, say your number was 100% of demolition. What percentage of that 100% do you think is demolished?
I'll give that one to Ted. I don't want to mislead you.
No problem.
That one is, I brought Ted over here so he can also help out with any questions that you might have.
Great.
But
Thank you, Mr. DeSantis.
anytime. And like I told you, there's a lot of things that we're doing, you know. One of the things that we want to do is we want to do a charity event for the after-school kids. Everybody talks about the crime in Millville. Well, guess what? That's an easy solution for the young kids. Occupy them, take them off the streets. When children are occupied, they're too busy. I think we've had that discussion at one time. When the children are too busy and they don't have time to go out and create trouble, guess what? They're not going to be on the streets. They're going to be in some type of an activity, and you know what? They may actually learn something, whether it's music or piano or dance or gymnastics. I got a phone call today, and if I could just, I received a phone call today from a citizen of Millville asking me if I could help him out. The daughter had a problem in school, and I was like, it's a simple solution. She just moved to the area. She doesn't know anybody. I'm like, put them in an activity. So I don't know a lot about the school system and some of the activities they hear, but I know, you know, Robert McQuaid is a former commissioner. I contacted him and I asked him if he could follow up, bring them to the school, and see if there's any after-school activities. I also introduced her to an ophthalmologist in town for a part-time job. So you're taking this child off the street. Now she can't do any more damage. So there are solutions to problems. We just have to work together in finding them. Anything else? Rick, we're good? You want questions?
No?
You look good today, by the way. I like the suit. All right. Ted, would you like to answer those questions on our behalf?
Good evening. I'm Ted Bazinski with E&R Contracting, the demolition contractor. So Mr. Sue, so you had a question, I guess, maybe about the air monitoring or?
Yeah, the folks were concerned about the air monitoring that we, you know.
Yeah, we have a perimeter air monitoring system that is developed by a third-party firm, that is overseen by a third-party firm, that is reported to the Department of Labor, all the analysis, all the results, and that's done on an as-project building basis. So right now we're in a lull with the demolition. You don't see too much activity right this minute because we're doing a lot of asbestos abatement activities and clearing one section of the main building at a time. We're actually will be starting back up next week with the main building again, but under the direction of the Department of Labor, they asked us to do one section, one building at a time, so that we don't get too ahead of ourselves with the demolition as it relates to the air monitoring work. So that's why it's slowed down over the past 30 days, 45 days. And we just cleared a couple additional sections of the building, the main building, so you'll be seeing that starting up. And a lot of people have questions about the silos. We're waiting on the short line authorization on a couple safety items that they want us to handle. And you'll be seeing those silos coming down. Probably in the next 30 days, we'll be starting that work. We found out that the silos have silica. They're full of silica right now. So that's a little bit of a delicate issue that we're dealing with now. And you had a question, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Does that answer your question, Mr. Suey?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, about if you could gauge the percentage of how much has been already demolished.
About 50, by square footage, about 55% of the entire surface. If you take the surface area
Correct.
of what
That's
buildings, It's about, and the abatement work for asbestos purposes, which is probably more important for the community to understand, we're about 85, 90% done. The only percentage that's not done of the abatement of the asbestos is the roofs. Some of the roofs that we cannot remove in their current condition, they have to be abated during the actual demolition, which is called wet demolition. But all the interior, piping, floor tile, anything associated with asbestos-containing material inside the structures have all been done. So it's really just some roof debris, and that's really about it on the asbestos. But overall, about 55, 60% of the job is done.
Okay, great, thank you.
Anything else?
Appreciate the update and your commitment to the project as well.
No problem. And if you guys have anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to ask Anthony, and you can get a hold of me, and I can answer questions as the project proceeds. We hope to be done by the next 60 days, majority of the project being down, so the main structures.
So just, Greg, you have anything to add? So just to finalize everything here, what we're looking is, we have, what we're looking to get out of that demolition is probably about 1 million square feet of property at approximately $350 a foot. So the rough investment number, final number, which we need to come up with our hedge funds and whatnot afterwards, once this is all done, is somewhere in the neighborhood of $350 million. Okay? You put on another $1 million. We're planning on right now adding a warehouse adjacent to 600G. We have a company that wants to come in there. We have some other properties that we purchased, like I told you, to put the restaurant in there. And this is just basically to bring some decent establishments to Millville, so we could, not saying that there's none right now, but to bring a healthy diversity, at reasonable prices. We'd like to keep it around $10, $15 a dish, if at all possible. And maybe even less, I don't know. But right now, it's one of the things that I'm encouraging, and I'm also financing help Giorgio to meet those numbers. And the reason for that is because I think that we need that for the next couple of years, so people are able, to come here. So, thank you very much. Thank you for having me, welcoming me to the city, to making us part, all of us, even Greg, part of your family. It's been a struggle, but we're here. For the most part, everyone's been great. It's like a family. You fight today and you make up tomorrow, but what's important is the end game, and we're all struggling for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, with that, I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Second motion.
Motion is second to pay the bills. Comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Make a motion to approve and dispense with the reading of the following minutes and to proceed with the regular order of business. The September 5th, 2023 closed session and the September 19th, 2023 work session.
Second motion.
Motion is second to approve and dispense minutes. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Public comment on agenda items only. If anybody has any questions or concerns on agenda items, please come to the podium, state your name, and address those concerns, and please limit the comments to 5 minutes.
Good evening, Tamara Davis, Millville. I'm here to discuss the new business item regarding the Tri-County Sportsman Motorcycle Club. I actually cannot believe that I'm actually up here asking for your approval and for support on this. There's several reasons why. First off, I can't understand why this is getting so much airtime and discussion, considering all the other problems and concerns that this city has. And I've never seen, from the little I saw from the work session, I've never seen anything been discussed in so much detail. It's almost embarrassing. So from what I heard from the work session, I'm pretty sure that the group has satisfied all the permitting and all the necessary fees that are required in order to have this race. Now, this race has been held for 3 or 4 years now. There have been no incidents that I have recalled. So I'm curious as to, despite the fact that there might be calls of illegal riding in that area, have there been any calls of illegal, sanctioned, approved meet that is going on in that area? And this is just one of a few. Now, I'm going to take this from a personal standpoint as well. My brother participates in this race, and he has been for the past 3 or 4 years with his group, which consists of maybe about 10 to 15 riders. They all come to this area. They come to this area, stay in a hotel, or they camp in that location or near that location, sometimes on private land, which is no concern of the city. All right? They go to the Wawas, they go to the supermarket, and they go to whatever local eateries that are available to them, which is not many, but they go. They drive street legal bikes, which they bring in on trailers or in the back of their trucks. They are geared up, their bikes are insured, all right? They have helmets, and it's a leisurely, slow ride to the areas that are through, Commercial Township, Down Township, Morris River Township. And none of those communities have an issue with this whatsoever. Each of the riders pays $200 to participate. And I think there's somewhere about 700 or so riders. Now, since this is a nonprofit, it's not a profitable thing for that particular group. The money is given back to local nonprofit organizations. So whatever money they make from the $200 that they get per rider, and you could do the math, all right, it goes to either Code Blue, they have donated to the past, they have donated to the Boy Scouts, and among other things in other communities, in the other areas that it rides through. So this is meant to be a fun ride. They do not go down highways and do wheelies without helmets on. They're street legal bikes that are insured by the rider. All right. VIN numbers are perfectly clear. All right. If there is an issue, could be due to rider error and not some crazy riding that they're doing. They don't race down the street. They're not in the middle of the street. They stay as close as they can safely to the shoulder. My brother also commented, and this is more from a personal standpoint, that this is the best area to ride in this area. The people that ride in this particular race, not only are they all over from the United States, but they look forward to it because it is a nice, slow, comfortable, safe ride for them. So the fact that you are quibbling over the fact that, oh, this could be a dangerous thing, or, oh, not permitted, this and that, and I'm sure they are. I'm not saying they aren't. It's just ridiculous to me. This is someone that is a company or a nonprofit organization that is willing to come to this area to do something that's fun and pleasurable. And maybe, perhaps, someone from the community can see this. This area has been known for street racing and such. In fact, I used to see a sign somewhere in Morris River of some famous motocross rider that came from this area. Well, why not support that? We got the sports park. Not that this is affiliated with the sports park, but it's part of it. So I don't understand why this has to take so much airtime, and that I'm even up here asking for that support, not only for the sake of my brother and his group, for the sake of what it provides for the community. So please let us know, has this race or any other race that has been sanctioned and approved by the city ever got any phone calls? All right, as many as perhaps the illegal riding. And it's unfortunate that our politicians in Trenton are making penalize these clubs that are doing the right thing. It's unfortunate that that's the way it is, but this group is not. They come here for a fun, good time. Thank you.
My name is Khalil Watanabe. I represent the project on 600 G Street, the cannabis cultivation facility. And I guess I just wanted to kind of introduce myself to you and sort of give you a little perspective as to the way that we look at it and the way I look at it. I'm the business manager for the company. I'm also a business manager for 3 other companies, of which actually all 3 will be open by the end of the year from the 2022 round. So we do it right, we do it well, and we get it funded, and we get it opened. But that's not really it. So my story is I got involved in the cannabis industry in 2016. And back then, it was still kind of a little bit the wild, wild west. But when I was brought in, and I said, well, I don't even smoke cannabis, I don't particularly like it, why do you need me? And it was a board member from one of my other companies, and they said, well, that's exactly why we need you. We need you for your business structure, we need you for your recruiting abilities, we need you because you know how to set up companies and set it up right. So my wife got involved, she's an attorney, she's a regulatory and compliance person. So in a lot of ways, I mean, we were a match made in heaven for this industry. So we got involved in that. And why am I telling you that? Well, because where it was in 2016 when we came in, since then, if you've noticed, the companies have changed. A lot of the guys that used to show up in their cannabis shirts and Hawaiian shirts and flip-flops and coming to the meetings is like, ooh, you're giving us a really bad name. A lot of those guys are gone. And part of the reason is because the industry transitioned from the Wild West to a truly regulated industry that is now professional. They're publicly traded companies. All of the old guard are gone. The new people who are running them are actually business people from other industries who are professional. And that's how they do it. And that's the way we do it. And so I guess I just wanted you to understand that that is kind of my background. That's my mindset. And so when we go in and we do this operation here, the one thing I guarantee you is regulatory compliance, first class. We were actually 2 of the first 11 in the state in May to be approved for our licenses. So that said, okay.
You have your approval, conditional license, you have your license.
We have our conditional license for the cultivation as well. It took us 30 days.
Okay. I didn't hear, I'm sorry, I do apologize.
No. These are for the, when I first got involved in New Jersey. So, regulatory compliance, our security plans, our odor mitigation, we have 4 levels. Even our security has 4 levels of security. So all of that comes from the last 7 years of doing this in, not only in Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Australia. All of that experience is coming into what we're doing here. So the one thing I guarantee you is that you won't even know we're there. And why do I say that? Well, because first of all, it's not open to the public. It never will be open to the public. It's a basement unit, so you can't even see it. The way we're designing our operations is that, okay, there's going to be probably 1 delivery a month, and that'll usually be done in the period between 9 and 2. Why 9 and 2? It's because that's when schools are out, the schools are in, I'm sorry, schools are in, and so you're not going to see us. We're going to be in, boom, in, 1 hour later, we'll be done, and there will be no markings on the building either. I mean, it's not as though we're going to have this huge signs. It's, in fact, that's frowned upon, so we will not have that. So one more thing about the building. It is locked on both sides. You can't even walk into the building on either end of the building without going through security, meaning you have to have a reason to be there, otherwise you're not going to get buzzed in. So it's very secure from that standpoint as well. So that's it.
Are your other businesses under the same LLC?
Yes. Only one dispensary in Trenton. I work with several other companies, essentially doing the same thing, advising them and getting them open properly.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Greg Kears, Millville. I just wanted to talk about, I believe it's the new business item. I mean, I came in a few minutes late to the work session, but I caught up real quick on YouTube. I want to speak about this in a liability perspective, and not many of you know how I got my SCI, my spinal cord injury. It was doing outside activity. It wasn't motocross, but when you have an SCI, one of the critical things is how fast the response time is to blood hitting your spinal cord. And from what I was hearing, on Millville property, because of the lack of our vehicles being even able to do this, and a lack of UTVs or whatever they're called now, we would be relying on a trail system of like basically the buddies yelling down a trail. And I mean, speaking for one who thankfully is standing here today because I was responded to after my burst within 30 minutes, that kind of stuff matters. And when I was at McGee Rehab in Philly, every day, every night, it was a cavalcade of personal injury attorneys, the high-powered ones coming from Philly. There's only a certain number of rehab facilities for stuff like this around here that New Jersey insurance covers. Kessler up north, and 2 possibly in Philly if you have really good insurance, Moss and McGee. What that means is you're not going to be dealing with local rinky-dink personal injury attorneys. You're going to be dealing with large firms out of New York and Philly. That's just something I think you should take into consideration, because as a taxpayer, I mean, I think we've already had enough problems with our GIF going up last year because of lawsuits. And I don't want to take this kind of a chance for a multi-million-dollar, when you have somebody who's angry that their life has been taken away from them. Trust me, you don't want to have to deal with that in a lawsuit and that kind of anger, because they won't settle. They will come for everything and everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Seeing nobody else, we'll close the public comment on agenda items only. Moving on to petitions and letters.
So I just need a motion to receive and file a letter from the New Jersey UEZ Authority awarding the City of Millville $200,000 for the Millville UEZ Administrative Budget Fiscal Year 2024.
I make a motion to receive and file petition and letters, item number 1.
Second motion?
I have a motion and a second on petitions, item number 1. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Reports to commissioners. Commissioner Romanek?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Good evening to all. I would like to say that Zoning Board of Adjustments is happening on Thursday, October 5th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Planning Board will be happening on October 10th. That is a Tuesday, not our normal Monday, because Monday is a holiday. Enjoy those that have that day off in public sector, because private sector does not get off. Me. On Tuesday, October 10th at 6:30 for Planning Board. On September 30th, I was pleased to be a judge for the city's 2023 baby show. It wasn't easy, but very rewarding to see so many participants. The costumes, to the floats, to everything other than the rain and the threat of rain was wonderful. Thank you to all those that participated, those that attended, watched, and to those that won. I'd also like to welcome Mr. Joe Calici to the 5th floor, taking
Isn't it Couchy?
Calci?
Calci.
Calci. I can't read my handwriting. To the 5th floor position of business manager. Joe is a welcome addition to the 5th floor, bringing his experiences of people managing over 200 employees, revenue generation responsible of over 10 million in sales, managing processes across numerous platforms to support staff and customer leadership that you can't teach. He is actively learning and reviewing all the processes that the 5th floor does go through. Like I said, he is a welcome addition, and I look forward to him meeting all of you and working well within the city of Millville. Other than that, that is all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Hewitt?
I just want to, again, thank the commission and everybody who was involved with moving forward with building our fire department. with our presentation that we had earlier. I'll address the questions about the ride when we get to that point in time. 4 new volunteers, like the chief said, that's great. That is building the fire department, which needs to be done. People come in with businesses. We're seeing some presentations today. We got businesses in the center of the city. We got businesses coming out on the west side of town, Livonia. They basically almost got the foundation in. That's more stress, more responsibility for the public safety teams. We're on the right course. And right now, that's all, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Watson?
Yeah, I do have the report from the Streets and Roads Department for September 2023 and its totals. 126 tires were collected, 12 appliances were collected, 3,068 bags of loose leaves and grass clippings were collected. 236 electronics were received, 212 street sweeping tickets were written, 48 curbside notice violations were given, 220 tons of brush were collected. The retention pond at McCafferty Boulevard was cut and cleaned. All storm basins on Cedarwood Village has been cleaned. This is also including Columbia Avenue and Riverside Drive. The sinkhole behind 1530 West Main Street was repaired. The sinkhole at 120 Wharton Street was repaired. Sinkhole at 905 East Mulberry Street was repaired. The sinkhole at 3rd and Florence was filled and is being monitored. 3rd Ward cleanup was held on the 23rd and the 30th. Brush collection is over for the 2023 year, and loose leaves and collection start November 1st. Jumping back real quick to the clean communities. Great job to everybody involved. Thank you to Chris, our recycle coordinator. I do have the totals for both of those days. Neighborhood cleanup, 3rd Ward, Archer to Columbia, on the 23rd was 5 tons of trash, 20 bags of recyclables, 15 tires, 12 TVs, 3 printers, 1 monitor, 1 VCR, 1 stereo, 1 grill, and assorted scrap metal. And the totals for September 30th, 3rd Ward, High Street to Archer, 5.2 tons of trash was collected, 23 bags of recyclables, 27 tires were collected, 38 TVs, 2 computers, 1 laptop, 2 printers, 1 humidifier, 1 dryer, 1 electric wheelchair, and assorted scrap metal. Whew. Great job, Streets and Roads, always working hard. Thank you to Wayne, always answering my phone calls when I give him a shout, always responding to emails very well. Good job to Randy and then the class he's taken. Yeah, if anybody has any questions or concern, please call 825-7000, extension 7388, and we'll do our best to address your concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
First, to address the concern about having an ATV, you may not be aware that the Parks Department also has an ATV that is operational. So you might want to check into that.
Or a golf cart.
What's that?
Golf cart?
No, an ATV, a four-wheeler. Second, we had received some questions about the generator replacement at the airport that caught on fire. So the coverage amount was $250,000. There was a $5,000 deductible. The estimated loss was $83,000, roughly. Salvage was $900, less the deductible. So Millville is getting back $77,000, and we'll have a new generator. And that includes the rental of the generator that is there. So it's scheduled for startup this week. That takes care of that. We met with, myself and the engineering department, met with representative of Commercial Township concerning the water project at Laurel Lake. We were informed by the individual we met with that they wish to proceed in the future, but not now. So we will make it possible for a connection to be placed there, that when they do want to proceed, they'll be able to hook up to the system. After that, I met with Commissioner Albrecht. He is looking for a source of funding for Commercial Township for that project. We're attempting to use the trust to get that project approved at minimal cost to our ratepayers and future ratepayers at the lake. So Commercial Township will apparently be on hold for at least a little while. We were hoping to have them on board right now, so it would help with the trust, but it is what it is until they decide to proceed with the project. Rescue squad demolition's done, finally.
Over there.
So,
I drove by the other day.
It's flat and dirt.
Looks good.
Looks good.
And that's about it for now. progress.
Thank you. Start that over. The Recreation Department held its annual baby show this past Saturday. As Commissioner Romanek mentioned, we crowned Isabel as Little Miss Millville in 2023 and Cameron as Little Mr. Millville 2023. And all other winners can be found on the Recreation's Facebook page. We would like to thank Commissioner Romanek, Nancy Bailey, Hud, and Amanda Sheets for judging this year's baby show. I know they were worrying about the weather, but it held off. There was other events that happened as well on Saturday that everybody got to enjoy their events. Upcoming events, the Holly City Walking Club will start next week, Tuesday, October 10th. Walking will take place every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 to 7:30 at Lakeside Middle School. If the school is closed, there will be no walking. Annual Halloween decorating contest is now until Friday, October 27th. I'm rushing this year. At noon, register your house or business for a chance to win a spectacular gift card by emailing Samantha.cruz@millvillenj.gov. There's a lot of houses out there already decorated, and it's just the beginning of October. So get your houses submitted, and good luck. Mystery on High Street will take place on Friday, October 20th. I keep wanting to push out February for some reason, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Again, that's October 20th from 6 to 9 p.m. along High Street. We will have pumpkin decorating, face painting, magic games, music, hair stenciling, and so much more. And it's all free. Along with these awesome activities, we'll also have ghost stories being told at 5 locations, being told by For the Whim Theater production. We are looking forward to a fun and spooky evening. I don't want to hear any scary stories, but it sounds like a good night. I'll go decorate some pumpkins. This month, we will also be hosting a new event. This is our fall block party that will take place on Saturday, October 21st, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Buck Park. Buck Street will be closed down, and we'll have food, vendors, community booths, games, live music, etc. You don't want to miss this. The pumpkin pie and corn on the cob eating contest. I know the watermelon eating contest and pie eating contest is entertaining at 4th of July, so this will be, I'm sure, is just as entertaining. That will take place at 6:45. Come and enjoy this great event for our fall. This is another fall activity that we're doing, a new event that we're able to use our UEZ funds. And I want to thank Sam and the team that she puts on these amazing events for the city, and they're always free for you to attend and come out and enjoy with your family. Lastly, to complete October fun, the annual pumpkin extravaganza will be held on Saturday, October 28th, from 2 to 4 p.m. on Pine Street, between 2nd and 3rd Street, just like Play Streets. We will have a trunk or treat pumpkin decorating contest, pumpkin decorating, games, music, and much more. If there's anybody who has questions or wants to be involved, please feel free to reach out to the Recreation Department. You can either go on the website, email Samantha Cruz, and or call 856-825-7000 and reach for the Parks Department. I think that's all I have for this evening. Moving on, we have ordinances under the second reading, please.
Okay, we have 2. We have an ordinance authorizing amendment to motor vehicle and traffic regulations, Municipal Code Article 10, Schedule 21, to add parking reserve for handicapped persons at 2 Coloris Avenue.
Make motion?
Second motion.
You have a motion second on ordinance item number 1. There's a public hearing. If anybody has any questions or concerns about this item, please come to the podium. Seeing nobody, I'll close the public hearing. Any comments of commissioners? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Wendorf?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 2 is an ordinance amending the salary ordinance to the following compensation for the below title, Municipal Court Administrator, with a minimum of $40,000 and a maximum of $85,000.
Move the ordinance on second reading.
Second motion.
I have a motion second on item number 2. There's also a public hearing for this item. If anybody has questions or concerns, please come to the podium and state those concerns or questions. Seeing nobody, we'll close the public hearing and go to closing comments of commissioners. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ordinances on their first reading, please.
Okay, we have one. It's an ordinance authorizing amendment to motor vehicle and traffic regulations, Municipal Code, Article 10, Schedule 21, to add parking reserved for handicapped persons at 701 East Mulberry Street.
Make motion?
Second motion.
I have a motion second on ordinance item number 1. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Consent agenda items, please.
Okay, all matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the Board of Commissioners and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a governing body member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Item 1 is a resolution approving a discharge of mortgage executed by Shirley J. Moser for property located at 205 Columbine Avenue, Block 568, Lot 3. Item 2 is a resolution approving a discharge of mortgage executed by Robert J. O'Donnell for property located at 223 East Main Street, Block 477, Lot 7. Item 3 is a resolution authorizing adjustments in the tax and utility records. Item 4 is a resolution authorizing water sewer termination on October 23, 2023, due to failure to comply with the utility ordinance pursuant to Section 56-18 of the Municipal Code. Item 5 is a resolution authorizing the insertion of an additional item of revenue in the calendar year 2023 budget, which is now available from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, document management for records retention and disposal in the amount of $50,000. And I just need a motion.
Making a motion to approve all consent agenda items.
Second the motion.
I have a motion and a second to approve all consent agenda items. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution, sorry. I'm looking at it.
Item 1 is a resolution awarding a professional services contract to EMS Consulting Services to act as medical director of EMS for the city pursuant to a non-fair and open process and an amount not to exceed $9,200 for a one-year term beginning May 5th, 2023 and terminating on December 31st, 2023.
Make motion? And with that, I have certification of funds in the amount of $9,200 from our Chief Financial Officer, Marcella Shepard.
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments?
Yes, I have one. During the work session, there was much talk about following your professional staff. So if you guys read this resolution closely, you'll see that the term begins on May 5th,
That was
2023,
my question.
and terminates on December 31st, 2023. Now, while accidents do happen and mistakes are made, and they are forgivable, you'll see that this should have been on the agenda in May. So, as I have said before, you can listen to them and take their advice, but keep an eye on them as well. And that's just one example, and it just happens to be here tonight. So sorry it was your department, because you're here a lot. But this is an example of this. It's an example of why you need to come in here and look at stuff. So that's all I have with that.
That was going to be my question. Why are we doing this that was dated back in May?
Because it wasn't done in May. Luckily, no money has been expended from it, so we're okay.
It wasn't done in May, and also, we haven't even been billed since May due to a conflict at the contractor's office.
Are we using this service, though?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
They are maintaining their job and doing the service.
Gotcha. Okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 2 is a resolution authorizing a contract through a non-fair and open process with Polydyne Incorporated to purchase polymer for sewage department for a cost not to exceed $28,900.
Move the resolution, and I have certification of fund in the amount of $28,900 signed by the CFO, Marcellus Shepard.
Second motion.
Yeah, motion second on resolution item number 2. Any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 3 is a resolution authorizing a contract with AccuScan Edgewater Park, New Jersey for document management for records retention and disposal services through the Educational Service Commission of New Jersey Cooperative Pricing System in the amount of $42,501.90.
Move the resolution, I have certification of funds in the amount of $42,501.90, signed by the CFO, Marcellus Shepherd.
Second motion.
A motion and a second on resolution item number 3. Any questions?
Comment.
Or-
I know our clerk is extremely glad that this is happening now, so we can get our paperwork into an electronic
Electronic
means
to-
The
instead of
history of the city, it's all of our vital
thousands of
records,
files.
our ordinances,
be much
my whole
easier to
vault.
search and.
But while it's still able to be scanned.
Yeah, I think it's great that we're able to do that.
Thank
Much
you.
needed, for sure.
Thank you very much.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 4 is a resolution approving Second Amendment to Professional Services Agreement with ACOM Technical Services Incorporated to extend the contract to December 31st, 2024 pursuant to NJSA 40A-11 through 15, 19, and 36, and to perform additional services on a time and materials basis and an additional amount not to exceed $97,925 for a new total contract amount of $385,825.
Move the resolution, I have certification of funds in the amount of $97,925, signed by CFO Marcellus Shepherd.
Second motion.
A motion and second on resolution item number 4. Any comments?
Yes, I know you had comments in the work session, but this part is to provide the design and engineering services to develop the bid-ready documents for the third clarifier. In other words, so it can go out for bid and get built.
Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it. Any other questions or concerns? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 5 is a resolution of support for suitability of cannabis business with Moja Life LLC at Block 264, Lot 2.03, 600 G Street.
Move the resolution on item number 5.
Second the motion.
I have a motion and a second on resolution number 5. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
No.
Okay, Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 6 is a resolution authorizing a general reexamination of the master plan and development regulations by the city planner in conjunction with the planning board in accordance with the municipal land use law 40:55D-89.
Move the resolution on item number 6.
Second motion.
A motion second on resolution item number 6. Any comments?
Yes, I'm probably better off letting Brock explain why this is necessary so the public understands it.
Yeah, the last reexamination that the city did was in 2012, which was 11 years ago. And then in 2016, 2017, there was a study done by the local government services branch of the DCA, and the city planning board adopted a new land use element. But it is time for us, that was 6 years ago, to conduct a reexamination of the entire master plan.
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 7 is a resolution authorizing emergency shoring due to ACUA incident of the property located at 118 Morrison Street, Block 52.09, Lot 13.
Move the resolution.
Second motion.
We have a motion and second on resolution number 8. Any comments?
Yes. It may be a little confusing to people. Shoring. We had to shore up a house out Four Seasons. Because they weren't running too fast, I don't imagine, because it was one of our trash trucks that we contract through the ACUA that decided to enter without, well, it did knock. Enter the house, so we had to bring in a contractor to shore up the house to remove the fire, to dump the trash truck. That's what this is for.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, item 8 is a resolution authorizing release of unsafe structure and demolition lien at 4 West Powell Street, Block 306, Lot 11.
Move the resolution on item number 8.
Second motion.
I have motion second on number 8. I said 8 last time. I do apologize. That was 7. I turned the page. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 9 is a resolution authorizing a shared services agreement between the City of Millville and City of Vineland for municipal court services.
Make motion?
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second on resolution number 9. Any comments?
Yes. And I've had comments with the solicitor on this. Him and I happen to have a disagreement on this, but I'll tell you what my problem with this shared services agreement is it's open-ended. There is no maximum, in other words, no amount to exceed on it. And I would appreciate it if when I'm done that Brock would explain why we should do it, but I'm going to tell you the problems I had to do it. So during the course of this, I had asked for a maximum amount not to exceed for $100,000, figuring that when Vineland wanted to do an entire shared service agreement, it was approximately $300,000. So it should cover the time that it takes to get the court back here. They were not amenable to that. So we are stuck with a shared services agreement here that bills us hourly for the services that they provide. Is that correct?
Yes, there's, attached to the agreement is a price list of the various employees of the Vineland Municipal Court based upon what their regular and their overtime hourly rates are. So to the extent that we need their services, we'll be charged for those. There also is a charge for the use of their facility. From my standpoint, the sooner we can get our court up to speed, the sooner we'll be away from Vineland and can come back here. Of course, that's subject to the judiciary. We have no control over that. And I can tell you that I have had meetings with Judge Telsey, our assignment judge, last week and this week. And this is a high priority for the court. They want to see the shared services agreement entered into. They also want to see us appoint our new judge, and they want to see us appoint a municipal court administrator, which I understand was already completed, and that was one of the reasons why we had the second reading on the salary ordinance. That's a very critical piece. And then the city in short order will be also hiring a deputy court administrator and I believe 2 other clerks. So I think initially the judiciary wants to see us continue to operate in the Vineland facility, and then they will, at some point, I hope soon, once they're satisfied with that, allow us to move back to our facility. And I did take a retired assignment judge on a tour of our facility because it's currently being renovated with new carpeting, I think new furniture, being repainted, and the judge was impressed with that. New security, new metal detector, new video monitoring equipment. So we're doing all we can. We submitted, I think, a report of some 20 pages or so, which was mandated by the court, and they were satisfied with that. They've also approved the candidate that's on the agenda tonight for the municipal court seat.
So with all that he said, I look at this as I would never enter into an open-ended contract personally. If you told me that you didn't know how much something would cost, and you told me to sign the paperwork, I wouldn't do it. I'm the director of revenue and finance. That's my job, to protect revenue and finance, right? You're in charge of the courts. Your job is to make the courts right. So I don't think we're all going to agree on this, but I'm just explaining my position as director of revenue and finance. And I think I have an obligation to make sure that I know how much money is going to go out so we can stay within our budgetary constraints.
How can you put a budget on, or how do we know how many cases they're going to hear from
We don't, but
Millville?
We could have a not to exceed amount, and we could also amend it if it were required.
If I may, I did some research. I looked at other shared services agreements between other municipal courts in the state. None of them that I could find had a not to exceed. And in fact, Vineland itself has such an agreement with MRT, which does not have a not to exceed amount. So it's not something that we may like to do, but I think under the circumstances, I don't think that there's any choice. I think Vineland is entitled to be reimbursed for its actual expense. I don't think anybody would challenge that. And the money that we're spending or giving to Vineland is what we would otherwise have to spend on our own people that we don't have, because we found ourselves in a position not too long ago where our judge retired, and we also lost the other two critical court employees, the MCA and the DCA. So Judge Telsey entered an order and directed that all further Millville court matters on a temporary basis would be conducted in the city of Vineland. So, and he also directed the two municipalities to negotiate an agreement so that Vineland would be reimbursed. So, you know, that's the way I see it. I don't know that you can put a ribbon on it. It's just what it is. And hopefully we'll get through this and get our court open, and we won't have this problem again.
I hear both sides. My concern is if we were to not approve this, then it would look as we're pushing back on, it's not just it's the state, if I'm correct, that is,
well,
AOC or.
My concern, if you don't approve this, is you might not have a municipal court for very long. And I think everyone in Millville wants to have a Millville municipal court. I was here in the
Correct.
last administration when we looked into having a permanent arrangement with Vineland, and I don't think that was very popular. I think the people of Millville want a court in Millville.
Correct, I agree, and I don't want to seem that we're pushing back. I understand where you're coming from. Is there a way to amend it so it is not open-ended, or can we approve this tonight to let them know that, we are aware that we need to do this, and we're taking every step. We've made that apparent, and in all your reports back and forth, we've seen that. We're hiring people, we're interviewing people, we're doing what we need to do on our side. But I get where Vice Mayor is trying to protect what funds we're putting out and making sure that, I don't want to say take advantage of, but.
One of the problems is, I think initially, when the order was entered by the judge suspending our court, we thought, our administrator and I think Vineland solicitor thought that, well, we can do a 30-day agreement because that's all it's going to take. Well, that's not the way and it's not just our assignment judge, but it's also the director of the administrative office of the courts, Judge Grant, who works for the Chief Justice, who's involved with this as well. And the reason it's open-ended is because there's no duration. We don't know when the court is going to say that we can separate from Vineland and come back to Millville. That's why we're trying to do everything we possibly can to get our court up to staff and to persuade the assignment judge that we're ready and we can end the relationship with Vineland. I think Vineland would prefer that we end it as soon as possible too, but neither one of us know because of that court order when that's going to happen. Neither Vineland nor Millville have any control over that.
And with both your concerns, Mayor and Vice Mayor, I agree. But there's one caveat. We are at the mercy of the state judiciary, and now we're at the mercy of the city of Vineland. I do have to thank the city of Vineland. They have helped us, and Brock, you could probably confirm this, with our plan of action to the judiciary. I want to see it over as much as possible, and yes, I wouldn't. I'm not one to say, yeah, sure, just here, I'll give you an open checkbook, but we are basically up against a wall here, and we will be hiring a judge tonight. We'll make that official. We have hired a administrator. She will assist on the hires that are going to happen down the road, which is an assistant administrator and, like Brock said, 2 more clerks. So I agree, but we're up against a wall.
Do you have any other comments? No. Okay. That's a tough one, but I know that we're in a position where we are hoping and showing them that we're trying to make, taking the actions to open our courts. So thank you for your explanation, and thank you, Vice Mayor, for your comments and concerns as well. roll call, please. I know, I was just getting there.
It's okay. Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
No.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 10 is a resolution authorizing a contract with CNH Disposal Services Incorporated for sludge hauling for the sewage utility beginning January 1st, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2024 in an amount not to exceed $44,000 a year.
Move the resolution.
Second motion?
You have certification of funds? Or that would
We
depend
won't
on
have
the
it till next
adoption
year,
of the
depending
okay.
on the
Gotcha.
adoption of the budget.
A motion second on resolution item number 10. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 11 is a resolution authorizing a contract with Synagro for sludge removal for the sewage utility beginning January 1st, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2024 in an amount not to exceed $400,000 a year.
Move the resolution.
Second motion?
A motion second on resolution item number 11. Any comments? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 12 is a resolution approving a First Amendment to professional services contract with Jeanette A. Pace to increase the not-to-exceed amount from $5,000 to $15,000 to cover current billings and additional estimated funds to cover possible services in the fourth quarter for paralegal services assisting the city with litigation support regarding certain pending lawsuits in which it is involved.
Make a motion. With that, I do have the certification of availability of funds in the amount of $10,000 signed by our Chief Financial Officer, Marcella D. Shepherd.
I have a motion and a second on resolution number 12. And roll call, please. Oh, comments, I apologize. Were there any comments?
May I add something? Most of this is attributable to the fact that we had the land sale, which was, I think, extremely successful. And I think that there was close to $300,000 in sales proceeds. And I don't remember the number of properties, but she had to do all the closings, so.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Item 13 is a resolution appointing Frank Guaracini III to serve as municipal court judge for a 3-year term for an annual compensation in the amount of $80,000.
Make motion?
Second motion.
I have a motion and a second on resolution item number 13. Any comments?
Yes. I sat in on this interview, and the judge-to-be was hammered with a lot of questions. Didn't stumble, didn't fall. He answered them all. He will be starting the mandatory judgeship training on October the 5th. That's why we're doing this tonight, along with the fact of moving along. I have confidence in the fact that we have chosen the right person for the job.
And just to confirm, Brock, this was approved.
Yes, we actually had spoken to another candidate a few weeks ago, had discussed financial terms with him, of course, subject to approval by this board, and then we found out to our chagrin that and actually it was from the director's office, that they did not approve him. So we submitted the names of the other candidates that we had ahead of time to the judiciary, and the judiciary approved Mr. Garanchini, and as did the assignment judge, and the city actually has had prior experience with him because he previously was an associate of the Blaney Law Firm and handled work for the city, so we were very comfortable with him.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
Yes.
Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
New business.
Okay, I just need a motion to authorize the following special event on public lands application, which did not receive approvals from the following departments: Division of Traffic Safety, Parks and Public Property Department. There was some concern from the other departments, but they weren't actually disapproved, so that's why I didn't list them on the agenda like that. So it's the On-Off-Road National Dual Sport Motorcycle Ride, sponsored by Tri-County Sportsman Motorcycle Club Incorporated, on November 5th, 2023, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., starting in Port Elizabeth.
Make a motion?
Second it.
I have a motion and a second on new business item number 1. Any comments?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I spoke about our insurance provider. We're not going to go there. I am going to read the emails from the appropriate departments concerning this. I have listened to residents. I even listened to Eldon. I know people that do this, so let's get on with it. This is from Chief Hoffman. I will echo my previous concerns with allowing motorcycle events on this particular piece of property. We have spent numerous man-hours attempting to keep motorcycles off this property, and although this organization is doing the correct thing by applying for a permit, I feel this may advertise the property as a place to ride and attract unwanted attention. Sergeant Stadnick, Administrative Sergeant, Traffic Safety. Traffic Safety, again, does not approve of this event. As it has been discussed in the past, allowing organizations to utilize properties that we attempt to enforce trespassing laws on for doing the same style of the same thing sends the wrong message. There are numerous safety concerns which Chief Lippincott has brought up, and that I have mentioned last year when they applied. They also have only provided a map of the general area and not the route or property that they intend to use. Last year, they stated that they were going to use property between Silver Run and Bogdan, and ended up using the property between Bogdan and New Jersey Motorsports Park. That's from Sergeant Stadnick. Chief Lippincott, Millville Fire Department. The main issue I have with these type of events is EMS access to remote areas if there is an injury. It says they are going to contact local EMS. I have copied EMS Chief Feltus in for comment also. I would like to know the following. Will they have a contracted EMS unit or units on dedicated standby, and who are they? Units operating in Millville City have to be approved prior to the event by the AHJ, which is Millville Fire Department and EMS. Will the EMS units have off-road rescue capabilities, or will they be depending on local fire departments to provide off-road rescue vehicles, example, gators, ATVs? A map of the course with access points from roadways highlighted should be provided for fire and EMS. An emergency communications plan needs to be written so that there is clear direction as to how an off-road accident is reported and located accurately. Samantha Cruz, Manager, Department Parks and Recreations. Pretty simple and cut and dry. I do not approve this event. With that said, anybody have any questions?
Sure.
me?
I have one. So how do we usually report an accident when we see an accident? How does anybody usually do that?
Via telephone.
So cell phones work out there, right?
Cell phones work. No, actually, they don't work out.
Yeah, actually they do, because I went out there.
Well, you talk to me a lot, and I'm right there.
Well, your
Everybody
house, it
calls me.
doesn't work.
The
When
whole
you step
area
outside,
doesn't.
it works.
The whole area doesn't.
It works
Yeah,
when I
go
talk to you
outside.
outside.
Provider, if we really want to get into it, but
And
point
second,
is,
a few more comments. I mean, if you're done,
No, I'm good.
if it's okay if I go.
absolutely.
So first, the legality, again, as brought up by a resident, somebody's trying to do something legal, which we tolerate illegally. So it makes no sense to tolerate people riding down the road on ATVs, motorcycles, and everything else. And when we look at the safety of that, historically in Millville, more people have gotten killed and injured riding on our streets illegally than have gotten injured in these events. Second, you're worried about access. I told you about the ATV in the Parks Department. These events have happened for years with no incidents. You can certainly make all kind of requirements for plans and this and that, and to me, that's utter nonsense. When stuff is done, has been proven to be done safely, has been proven to be done responsibly, has been proven to be done legally, and you haven't had a problem with it, For all your efforts of keeping everybody out of there, we still have people that go there. We still have people riding down the roads.
The
Just
roads we can't control.
Well, there you
Stop
go.
going
There's
That
my
is from
point.
Trenton.
That's my point. You can't control the roads.
We can control
So-
them
so
that
you-
are not legal, but
So you
we're-
can't
we're letting
control,
everybody else go.
you can't control people doing something illegally, so you want to control people that are doing something legally. I don't know, that just interferes with my basic sense of freedom. So, I'm going to support it. You guys do what you want.
Let's vote.
Um,
We'll see where people stand.
I voiced my opinion at the work session. I appreciate. I want to say I feel like he said his name was 3 names. Paul something. I feel like he had first 3 names. There we go. Eldon. And I appreciate him coming and letting us know that the map that was provided was actually correct for this year. That was my biggest concern, making sure that public safety knew where they were going to this event. Again, it was stated that this is a slow, enjoyable ride, and there are multiple checkpoints throughout the ride, and it has happened for multiple years. I do appreciate the input from public safety and my own director. Again, we haven't had any issues in the past. I just want to make sure that the organizations provide the proper information to the city so we're aware of it, and that everybody can enjoy the ride. Last year I passed it. There was the police were out there making sure everybody was aware. Everybody stayed off to the side. Everybody moved slowly, and they were courteous to the drivers that were coming down Buck Shootem. And as Ms. Mara said, that your comments, this is something that brings people into our city, just as long, as well as other organizations that come to the racetrack. Hundreds of people come in. Motor America brought in so many people to the city. Texas Roadhouse was booked for 3 nights, and we don't want to send the wrong message. We just want to make sure everybody's safe and allowing to them to enjoy this. So I thank them for providing the information to us, and they said they were going to meet the rest of the requirements or needs to the permit, and I'm hoping that will be done, and I hope the ride is safe and enjoyable and nobody gets hurt. So good weather. Any other comments? May I have roll call, please?
Sure. Commissioner Hewitt?
No.
Vice Mayor Sui?
Yes.
Commissioner Watson?
Yes.
Commissioner Romanek?
No.
And Mayor Orndorff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. Public comment portion. We have now reached the public comment portion of this meeting. If anyone would like to address the commission, please come to the podium, state your name, address, and your concerns, and please limit those comments to 5 minutes.
Oh, I did turn it off. I'm sorry, because I was making notes here.
Thank you. Evening, Commissioners. Evening to the people of City of Millville. My name's John Pace. I live at 1217 Geisel Drive in Cedarwood Village. Topic tonight, I wanted to spend a little time talking to the Commissioners about safety and engagement. At the same time, I do want to offer some praise tonight. I asked myself, why am I here? What's the process that's not working that brings me to a podium to talk to the commissioners? I've run the Crime Watch for Cedarwood Village for almost 25 years. Been a resident there for 30 years. Also ran the Community Emergency Response Team there for years. One of the first developed for the City of Millville. So I've got a little time with knowing the neighborhood and the events that go on in my neighborhood. I've got a great report, Commissioner Hewitt, with the police department for the Crime Watch with Cedarwood Village. Great response, and things really work when you're engaged and involved. So the reason I came to the podium tonight was I try and watch over the neighborhood from a safety perspective, right? Crime Watch is not just crime, but it's also safety, right? So some of the potholes and some of the brush overgrowth and some of the sinkholes and the other things that go on become an interest to me, especially when school session gets ready to go. So I generally spend some time out on the streets, walking, riding my bike, and through those observations, I have encountered an excessive amount of discrepancies along Rick Avenue sidewalk, which is a direct path to the Rick Avenue School for Children. So around August, September every year, I get onto a path of taking this observation and documenting it and connecting with the city. Now that sounds good, and it's a good effort and a good initiative for me to do, but the thing is why is the process not working, right? So just to give you guys a little flavor, through my walkthrough on this, I found 11 issues that either tied to storm drains or sinkholes adjacent to them. I found 15 potholes in the streets, and I found about 10 code violations. So it was a pretty sizable amount of things that I found, right? So I didn't write them all up and put them in the system, but I did connect with Commissioner Watson's supervisor directly from Streets and Roads, and he had a great response, right? So here's our first accolade for the team. So he did a great job in responding. The next day, he had trucks in the neighborhood. He had street cleaners out, vacuum trucks. He had guys working the asphalt. I met some of the guys out in the field, showed them some of the things for clarity, made sure things went good. And Wayne and his team did a great response. So hats off to him, right, Mr. Watson? Please give that accolade back to him. So I think that was great. The area that concerned me was a couple things. Code concerns. Being a former zoning board member, I understand the codes and the responsibilities for the residents in the city. And a number of these are a challenge, right? Again, back to school and safety. These children are going to and from school. The sidewalks are getting overgrown. The brush is growing out in the street, and the kids have to tolerate this, right? So I didn't sit on this. I didn't just ignore this. I reported these things. I got out with some of the neighbors, and I asked permission to clean their property, what they're responsible for, with some other members of my neighborhood. So we took care of some of these immediate concerns. But the code concerns have got to be looked at. So Commissioner Romnick, this is your
Correct.
area, right? So if you'd like to chat offline, talk about it, I'll be glad to share more insight with you. And just a little background, right? So I'm an old QA guy that does public responsibilities and things like this, oversight. I've got a pretty good perspective to share with you. And I did take some of the ownership, right? So it's not about grandstanding for me, but I did take ownership of this. And I have for years. I've worked with the county freeholders on this around Rick Avenue, around Lakeside School, and some of the areas that are overgrown to get these things resolved. I also educate the neighbors in the neighborhood. I talk to them, I share with them, and I offer my support and get people to help people in the neighborhood. So really my closure is on this is I need the city's engagement just like I'm engaging, right? So I ask the two of you, Mr. Watson and Mr. Romanek, please make sure you guys are engaged. There's also another initiative I know within the body of the city to do cleanup efforts periodically, where we can align with the city and use some of the city resources to come out with the people in the neighborhoods. And I recommend that as an opportunity. I'll obviously volunteer myself to help coordinate Cedarwood Village. Mayor, on your side of the street over on White Marsh, don't know who wants to engage that, but I would maybe look at you and say, could you organize somebody in your neighborhood to do the same? Because I did reach over the line and solicit some of the people in your neighborhood, and they've got the same problems. So just an opportunity. Comments and questions from the commissioners?
I'll hand you my business card at the end, or if you're going to leave, I'll leave it right here for you.
I'll give you mine. I'll give you mine on the way out, because I have to run. So I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for taking the time. Have a great night.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Patty.
Jim Reedy's 40 Packard Drive. Good intro for me. On Carlton Avenue, White Marsh Stream, the sidewalk side of the road, which is the east side. From the property owner to the property owners, I don't know if that's city property, I gather it is. It's overgrowing over the sidewalk, the trees around the White Marsh Stream, to the point people are walking more out in the street and not on the sidewalk. If the commissioners could get together, whichever department or departments, I think it can be done in-house. Don't just push them back, but clear the trees out along the road, cut the tops off, get the brush away so that people can walk down the sidewalk. and not have to go out in the street. Not counting the problem on Carlton Avenue, people like to go fast. The speed limit's 25, and I find it hard to even go as fast as 30. And when I do that, people don't like me and they pass me. But that's another ball game, and I know police have been out there. It's impossible. All over town they do that. So if you could look into that and get that cleaned up, if you could, sometime in the next year before next spring gets here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves.
The county's in charge of the stream, but I don't know whose property it is. You have to check and see whose property it is. The stream they take care of, but I don't know whose property it is when I look at the map.
Good evening, Patricia Kears, 409 Peach Drive. The traveling county meeting, will that be here again? Or was it like a one-time deal?
Probably a one-time deal.
Okay.
If not, it'll be next year.
Was there a memorandum of understanding with the city for that meeting? To be held in our building?
Don't know.
Okay, I wondered if that affected liability for the city if there wasn't a memorandum of understanding. My second question is, was the rescue squad property sold yet?
No.
Okay, is that going to be done the same as Buck and Main with the advertising?
I'm not sure.
Do you know when you will be sure?
No, I don't.
Thank you for your information.
Tamara Davis, Millville. My question's more out of curiosity rather than, and if you don't have the answer tonight, if you can get to me at some point. Regarding the sludge removal, I understand it's a necessary evil. I understand it's something that you have to do. But what was the cost and what was the budgeted amount for this year or previous years, and who handled it? Synagro is in Millville. They're on CCIA property.
County landfill.
Yeah, count. So, I guess it's in, so I'm just wondering, and I understand there's a process, I understand it takes time, and I understand it has to be environmentally correct to do this, and I understand that the CCIA put a lot of time and money into allowing Synagro to put their facility there, but I'm just curious how the cost compares.
The cost was a lot cheaper, and I was thinking about talking about it when we did it, but I didn't have the numbers in front of me.
Okay.
As to how much money we're going to save by going there, but I'll get you that information.
And where was it going previously?
It wouldn't.
ACUA.
Where they taking it. The ACU was taking it, but I forget what facility it was going to. We have, and even when, like, if something happens there, we have backup places that we can take it. So, and I don't recall right off the top of my head.
That's the presentation that Sal gave us
Correct.
last month, yes.
And then the $44,000 in the hauling. I mean, the C&H disposal services sludge hauling for sewage utility beginning January. So I'm assuming that's the hauling from here to the Synagro.
We are making arrangements to haul it ourselves, but in the meantime, until the truck comes in and the containers are ready, we have to pay somebody to haul it. Previously, the ACUA was hauling it.
And is this cost a savings
Yes,
to that?
it will be
Okay.
savings, yes.
Okay. Okay, that's it, thanks.
Mary Messick here of Millville. I'd like to take the time to say, yes, I can understand both sides of the coin. Those that want to do something that's nice and the right way. And I can agree with Commissioner Suey. Nobody in their right mind wants to hand over an open checkbook. But also at the same token, even though we're bound by regulations higher than we are, perhaps maybe we need to check to see what fees other places are charging to make sure that we're not being raked over the coals because we're pushed into a bind. Another thing, I appreciate the fact that Streets and Roads have been out there because the road right behind Ferguson Court is finally getting some, not all, but some of their potholes that have been reported multiple times fixed, which is a good thing, because unlikely, I'd probably break another axle on my car. And car parts are not cheap. And once again, there's that pothole, sinkhole, whatever you want to call it, right there at 4th Street and the 300 block of East Oak Street. It's been reported, it's been fixed, it's back again. And for Mr. DeSantis, you'd mentioned about getting kids involved in different things. There's several organizations. You've got Positive Vibes, you've got POW. The school has multiple programs. The city has multiple programs. Anybody can go to them, talk to them, and possibly partner up with them in order to give kids a fighting chance. I agree. A child that is busy doesn't have time to stand on the corner and terrorize the neighborhood, nor do they have the time to see what mischief they can get into without having to pay a massive fine. I agree with that, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mary.
Good evening, commissioners. This evening, I would like to take the opportunity to thank the City Commission and its staff for the hard work and patience for our project. In brief, I was first hesitant to coming to Millville after our research of the city. Mr. DeSantis had a lot of convincing to do, and it was only after he flew to Italy to meet us personally, I decided to study the opportunity a bit more. I flew to the United States and was chauffeured to Millville. It was only after visiting the city and meeting the city that we decide to call this our new home. I now see and understand what Mr. DeSantis sees in Millville. I fell in love with the downtown district, with arts, and overwhelmed with the amount of new development coming to this area. We are strongly looking into the downtown area and will return shortly with the announcement. Again, I would like to thank you for the opportunity and presenting this warm welcome to us. We are proud to call Millville our new home. My warmest thank you.
Sir, may I just ask for you for the record, just to state your name?
I'm sorry. I didn't understand. My name is George.
George?
George Di Pietro, yes.
George Petro.
Yeah.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, seeing nobody else, will close the public comment for this evening's meeting and go to closing comments of commissioners. Commissioner Romanek?
Yes, Mayor. I thank all the commissioners for the discussion tonight. Government's not easy. We may perceive it to be easy sometimes, but definitely it's not. It's mostly challenging it. Phillies are up 1-0. Go Phillies. Thank you, and I'll have a good night.
Commissioner Watson?
Good luck and be safe to the new firefighters that joined our team. That's all I really say. Have a good night.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Good, long night. The only thing I can say to public comments is, Mary, we don't have a choice to pick what court takes our court. We're under orders from the state judiciary. With that, have a good couple weeks, everybody, and see you at the next one.
First of all, I want to thank Mr. Davis for his time with the city that he put into the fifth floor. When he came in, the HUD grants were a mess. We were in danger of losing funding. He straightened that out, as well as did a lot of straightening out with the CDBG funds. So I'm going to miss Bill, but I'm sure I know where to catch up to him when I want to. Second, we were being sued by Mr. Romero for failure to pay a bill, which I directed not to be paid. So I'm happy to say that that case has been dismissed, and we won. So, you know, we're going to be sued, and if we have the fortitude to stand up for the right stuff, we will win. Brock did an immense amount of work on that, so it didn't cost us any extra money because he's already an employee and we're already paying him. So it was a great thing, good job, and thank you very much. Second, we are a city with a lot of challenges, and these challenges afford opportunity. So, you know, I want to thank Mr. DeSantis for having the vision to realize that these are actually potential for him to make money and for potential for us to end up flourishing once again as a city. So I think we're going down the right path. I think he's doing the right thing. He's kind of proven that, if not with results yet, some results which you've seen, but certainly with a huge amount of investment and bringing the gentleman from Italy over here. So, you know, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And with that, progress.
Thank you. Congratulations to the new firefighters that have joined our team. Thank you for making the commitment to our community and our the public safety. I know it's not easy, but I thank you, and I hope that you have a safe, healthy career, and may God always watch over you and keep you and your family safe. And again, thank you. Mr. DeSantis, to you and your team for just being committed to Millville and making Millville your home. I guess we can call you a Millvillian now. There's no rules or stipulations that say we can't. So, you know, you've been through a lot, and I know you're not done. So it's a huge project that you've taken on, you and your team, and it's a team that also includes the city of Millville and residents as well. So we look forward to the things that are to come. Like I said, when you mentioned something to remember Wheaton's property and the family and everybody who has worked there, I'd like to help you with that. I'll get in contact with people that I know, and we can make that work, because I think the city will appreciate that. There was something else I wanted to say, and it just... I think tonight was a great meeting. Again, I want to thank my commissioners for allowing me to bring up certain thoughts or concerns or ideas I may have, and allowing a debate. I think it was a healthy debate amongst all of us this evening, and I think we had a good meeting. And I just need a motion to adjourn, and I hope everybody has a great evening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.